what's up YouTube? This is Tommy Hayes and this is my top 5 favorite Batman comic books. There's going to be a lot of books that you might agree with and some that you might not. You might agree with the order that they're in, you might not agree with the order that they're in. Either way, I'd love to hear what you got to say, so leave a comment below, tell me what you think, about this video, and let's get it started. I even got the old Batman bling on for this video. He's always been one of my favorite superheroes. In fact, my favorite superhero comes from the Batman storyline. It's Nightwing. I figured I'd make my first video about my top 5 favorite Batman books. So, number 5, Batman Hush, written by Jeff Loeb, and the artist was Jim Lee. Jim Lee's actually my favorite artist ever for Batman, and so this was an easy pick to be in the top 5. It's got a great fight scene between Batman and Superman. In fact, I think it's the second best fight scene ever made about Batman and Superman. It's also got a very compelling story in there between Batman and the Joker, a lot of flashbacks. I don't want to give too much information away about any of these books, including this one, but I will say that you should go pick it up. It's just as you should go pick up all these ones. But no, this is a great book, written I think in the early 2000s. I'll give them more information below about when it was written and all that. But I highly recommend this one, especially to actually any beginner. It's got a great, it's got a lot of characters in it. That's really cool. There's even a really cool storyline between him and Nightwing. So I suggest picking up Batman Hush. That's at my number 5. Number 4 is a relatively new Batman book. It is Batman: The Black Mirror. This is written by probably my second favorite writer of Batman. Right now it's Scott Snyder, who is continually writing the Batman storyline still going on for the New 52. But I believe this is one of his first Batman stories that he wrote. The artist is Jacques, who is actually also, if you are into comics, Scott Snyder has a book out called Witches that Jacques is also the artist for. Anyway, what's cool about this is like I told you before, being a big Nightwing fan, I'm obviously a big Dick Grayson fan, and this actually revolves around Dick Grayson as Batman during that brief time when he was had to take over the cowl. And it's got a great storyline revolving around Jim Gordon's son, actually, and it's very revolves around Dick Grayson honing and becoming more of a detective, and mastering his detective skills. It's got big surprise ending that when you're reading it you don't see it coming. Even IGN says this is one of the greatest Batman epics I've ever read. So I highly recommend this one for any Batman or comic book fan in general. I can't get enough of Scott Snyder's work. I think he's one of the greatest. I think he's one of the best writers. I'm also a huge fan of American Vampire. I think that's one of the best books out right now. So obviously this would be high up and being number 4 on my list of all-time favorite Batman books. Alright, number 3, which I know some people even put as their number 1, but I have it as my number 3 third best Batman book ever, is Batman: The Killing Joke. It was written by Alan Moore, illustrated by Brian Boland. It's cool that to know Tim Burton was actually a huge fan of this. This, in the comic book series, gives the first ever actual storyline behind the originality of the Joker. This is very dark, probably one of the darkest Batman stories out there. Some even consider it the darkest, and I kind of wouldn't disagree with them actually on that. It's funny, with Alan Moore, who also wrote The Watchmen, great writer, definitely one of the greatest or best writers of our generation. But it's funny, Alan Moore has actually come out and said, or I've read somewhere that he said that he almost regrets the way that he wrote the Joker, because obviously this set for the platform for everyone after this book came out for how the Joker was perceived. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's like the Joker had to keep getting darker and darker and darker. And that's definitely still to this day, after this book was written, that the Joker's storyline and the acts that he does just keeps getting darker. Not to give much away, but this is definitely the scene between the Joker and Barbara Gordon is very, very disturbing. I find it great, but a lot of other people find it disturbing. The almost mental and physical torture that he puts Jim Gordon through in this book is amazing, and the artwork is just out of this world. This is one of those books that you go back and just keep reading over again. It's also got a very controversial ending. I've heard different takes on it between different writers. Obviously, I don't want to give too much away, but Grant Morrison has his take of the ending, and I've heard other people have his take of whether the Joker dies or not at the end. So it's a great, because to not give away the ending but also give away the ending. It has an ending where it's up to your opinion almost of whether he dies or not in the end. So it's kind of like your prerogative what the ending of this book is. All right. Number 2 on my list is Batman: The Long Halloween. Great book. Just like between Hush, this also was written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by Tim Sale. It's funny, at first I actually didn't, when I first picked up this book, I found the illustration okay, but reading the book more and more again, and the storyline without even any dialogue, the artwork by Tim Sale is, I learned to appreciate it so much more. This has a great origin of Harvey Dent, who is Two-Face, and it's also got a great storyline between Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle, and it's cool how you see them both connecting as Catwoman and Batman, and as Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne, and how they connect in both worlds. I highly recommend this one for anyone. Also, I love the covers for each month. They were able to make a different cover connecting to that month or holiday of that month for each storyline. There's obviously I believe 13 storylines in this book, starting on Halloween and ending on the next Halloween. But great book. What's also cool about this book is that it had a huge influence on the Christopher Nolan book, The Dark Knight, and Batman Begins. And that you can definitely, when you go, because I obviously didn't read this until after the Batman movies came out, and just reading how he was inspired by it, and then you go and read the book, you can be like, wow, there's like certain scenes that Christopher Nolan took right out of this book. So I highly recommend, of course, Batman: The Long Halloween. Before I get to number 1, I want to give an honorary mention. This book is called just Joker. The reason I don't have it in the top 5, even though I actually like it bit more than some of the other books in my top 5, or is the reason that it's not a Batman book. It is a book revolving around just the Joker. I'm not sure if it's actually how or why it was written, but I've had people tell me that the book was written after, like, based on the Heath Ledger performance of the Joker, and that they wanted to then continue almost the Heath Ledger Joker, so they wanted to write this book for it. This is, like I obviously said, one of my favorite comic books of all time. And this is probably the darkest, to me, the darkest Joker storyline ever written. So definitely anyone who, and I'll just say Batman or no Batman fan, pick up the Joker. It was and it was written by Brian Azzarello, and the art was by Lee Bermejo. Hopefully I said that right. And of course, this number 1 is probably everybody's number 1, but it is also, of course, my number 1. It is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, written by the famous Frank Miller, who also wrote Sin City, and did a great number of Daredevil books back in the day. This is without a doubt, probably the most influential Batman comic written. I mean, it changed how Batman was seen, and it's still felt to this day in Batman writing. If you pick up books today of the darkness and tone that The Dark Knight Returns set for Batman. In a way, this is the comic book that many say killed the Adam West Batman. And that's nothing against the Adam West Batman, but obviously the Adam West Batman was very hokey, very lighthearted, and this just was as dark can be. Like I said, with Hush, this probably has the best Batman versus Superman fight scene ever done. It's got a great tale against him and the Joker. It's cool. It's got, even though being a big Dick Grayson fan, it's cool they have a girl Robin, Carrie Kelly, in this. So, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, number 1. Definitely, like I said. And also, if you get a chance to go pick up the animated short, or not short, but animated film that was made about Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. Probably, in my opinion, the second greatest Batman movie ever made, whether it be animated, live action, any form of Batman film. I think it's the second best ever made, obviously behind The Dark Knight. So that is my top 5 favorite Batman books. I'd like to know what you thought about this video. I'd like to know what you thought about my list. Please give your comments below. Hit me up on Facebook. And while you're at it, go check out the band Ashes of Our Sins. Thank you, and I'll see you next